Right now, the Wisconsin Health Department sending out a warning how you can protect yourself from the rise in whooping cough cases, plus keeping students safe. The reminder from local law enforcement to slow down, and the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates, how the decision could impact this year's election. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. And we begin tonight with what's become a bit of a rarity of late. Some severe storms possible in the Madison area tonight. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Madison for how much rain we might get, Jacob.
Yeah, right now we are seeing some pretty heavy rain to the west of Madison in the western portion of our area. No severe storms right now, but the possibility is still there for the next couple of hours. So taking a closer look at the radar, the line of storms extending all the way from far southwest Wisconsin all the way into the northern portion of the state. But right now the heaviest rain across Grant County, kind of moving to the east northeast around 30 to 35 miles per hour. Again, we are seeing some heavy rainfall, no severe weather. There are a few lightning strikes though, so that may pose a hazard. And as I mentioned, this line of storms continuing all the way to the northeast across portions of Juneau, Adams, Marquette, and into Green Lake County a little bit later. Now, as we take a look at the severe weather outlook, there is that slight risk for areas near the Mississippi River, marginal risk just to the east of that. But in general, these storms are going to dissipate a little bit as they push east. They kind of already have dissipated from severe criteria, which they were severe further west out in Iowa and Minnesota. Right now, that's not the case. And if we take a look at future track, most of our area, if not all of our area, will see rain at some point, but the severe weather risk at this point doesn't look to be too likely. And this also is expected to mostly happen during the overnight hours, and it should be cleared by the time we get to sunrise Friday morning. But another chance of rain is in the near future. I'll talk more about that coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Wisconsin health officials are monitoring what they're calling a significant increase in whooping cough cases in the state. The respiratory illness can lead to pneumonia or even death, especially in young children. Armand Rahman has more on what DHS recommends you do to protect you and your family. Armand?
Eric, so far this year, Wisconsin's cases of whooping cough are 10 times higher than they were all of last year. Nationwide, the CDC says cases are climbing at the fastest pace on record in nearly a decade. Experts I spoke to say that's partly to blame because the vaccine for pertussis is less effective. The U.S. and other countries switched to this version in the 1970s, and that caused less side effects, but were less preventative and didn't last as long. Wisconsin DHS's immunization program manager, Dr. Stephanie Schauer, says that could change, but not anytime soon.
It is something that's been discussed at the national level for a number of years. And I think until and there are, plans in place and people are looking at creating a better vaccine that has a longer lasting, more durable protection. I think until we get then, we're sort of at the current recommendations.
Right now, it's recommended an adult gets one pertussis shot if they haven't gone through the series at a young age. Otherwise, if you have a long-lasting cough that comes in episodes, go to your doctor. You could get antibiotics for the symptoms that would also make you less infectious, because what is an uncomfortable cough for you can be deadly for babies.
They may have bouts of apnea, which is sort of a cessation of breathing. And so for all of those reasons, that if we are when there are pertussis deaths, it's most likely in those very youngest infants because their little airways just can't handle all of the inflammation and the coughing.
Dr. Schauer says whether it's measles, which has also seen a resurgence in the country recently, or pertussis, this is a reminder that infectious diseases don't go away. They're kept at bay with vaccines. And if you're not sure whether you've been vaccinated for whooping cough, you can find your records using the Wisconsin Immunization Registry online or by contacting your doctor.
Armand, thank you. A Kentucky sheriff is arrested after police say he shot a district judge. Around 3 p.m., dozens of officers were called to the Letcher, Kentucky County Courthouse. Police reportedly arrested Letcher County Sheriff Mickey Steins. Steins is now charged with first-degree murder after allegedly shooting District Judge Kevin Mullins right in his office. Police say the situation is contained. There's no threat to the public. An investigation is ongoing. Well, back here in Wisconsin, a small plane lands on a Douglas County highway up north. It happened on Highway 53 in Bennett. That's about 30 miles south of Superior. According to 511 Wisconsin, the highway was closed for about an hour. It's unknown if anyone was hurt or why it landed there. The FAA says the plane is registered to the Cirrus headquarters up in Duluth. No one seriously injured after a bus crashed into a motorcycle early this morning right here in Dane County. Happened at 6:30 at Nord Drive and Ramish Road in Waunakee. It's unclear if there were any students on the bus at the time of that crash. The Oregon School District partnering with Dane County law enforcement to reduce the risk of students being struck by vehicles. The initiative is in part a response to a report showing the number of students injured here in Dane County. Last year, 6 children were hurt in school zones. In the past 5 years, that number is 15. But if you go beyond the school zones, 43 children have been injured in the last 5 years. Zoe is a student who was struck by an SUV last year while boarding the bus, and her mother had this to say.
Everyone's tired and in a rush, but you can really change someone's life. We got lucky, but there's people that haven't been so lucky. Families, you know.
Police want to remind drivers that when a school bus's lights are flashing, the arm is extended. State law requires motorists to stop 20 feet short of the bus in either direction. Frequent bomb threats continue to disrupt the daily lives of residents in Springfield, Ohio. City officials say their goal is to get back to normal, but that may have to wait as the rhetoric and misinformation targeting Haitian immigrants in that city intensifies, resulting in Mayor Rob Rue issuing a proclamation granting him temporary emergency powers to more quickly mobilize resources against any risk like civil unrest, cyber threats, and other violence.
Wish he would, out of the goodness of his heart, just acknowledge that he was misinformed and ask the groups that are here for hateful reasons to leave our city.
Former President Donald Trump says he'll visit the city in the next 2 weeks. Meanwhile, former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy and a congressional delegation also have plans to visit Springfield. The Wisconsin Elections Commission files a petition asking the state Supreme Court to take up Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s ballot case here in Wisconsin. The petition argues the case is highly time-sensitive and hugely consequential for the people of Wisconsin. RFK's legal team filed a brief earlier this morning arguing that in the event a candidate died, stickers would be used, meaning they can be used to remove Kennedy's name. The appeal comes as local clerks mail absentee ballots to voters who requested them. Vice President Kamala Harris participates in a live stream with former talk show host Oprah Winfrey. That event billed as Unite for America was held in suburban Detroit, leaning on celebrities like Bryan Cranston, Jennifer Lopez, and Meryl Streep, but also stories from ordinary voters. More than 250,000 people were watching as Vice President Harris was introduced, and that's ahead of her visit to Madison tomorrow night. And former President Trump addressing Jewish donors after one of his allies running for North Carolina governor referred to himself as a, quote, black Nazi. North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson has vowed to remain in the race despite that report. And while the Trump campaign appeared to distance itself from that candidate, the former president promised to be, quote, the best friend Jewish Americans have ever had in the White House. Robinson has been on the trail with Donald Trump as recently as last month. Stocks jump as investors cheered on the Federal Reserve's eye-popping half-point interest rate cut. The Dow closing up 522 points, reaching a new record high, passing 42,000 for the first time ever. And the S&P 500 rising 1.7%. It topped 5,700 for the first time. The central bank's latest rate cut reflecting its shift from tamping down inflation to now maximizing employment. But the Fed's chair, Jerome Powell, warned that investors should not expect half a point to be the pace at which the Fed cuts rates moving forward. It represents the first rate cut, of course, of the Biden presidency, and in doing so, fewer than 50 days before Election Day, it has become a bit of a political football. Kamala Harris celebrating the decision in a campaign statement, calling it, quote, welcome news. The timing of the cut, though, leading her opponent, Donald Trump, to question whether the Fed's move is a political one, even though he appointed Jerome Powell. Some experts and economists dismiss Trump's claims.
Job market's roughly where it should be. Inflation is getting back down to where it should be.
Look, if the Federal Reserve were trying to influence this election, trying to help Democrats, they would have cut rates 9 months ago.
Now, only time will tell if voters will feel the impacts of leveling inflation and that rate cut, or if they'll believe it is political smoke and mirrors before casting their votes in November. The U.S. Postmaster General says the Postal Service is ready to deliver the nation's mail-in ballots. Louis DeJoy holding a news conference listing what he calls extraordinary measures that'll begin in October. Those include designated lines at post offices for people with ballots, extra deliveries and after-hours drop-offs to election offices. The USPS is facing criticism from political leaders on both sides of the aisle over recent breakdowns in service. We're continuing our 3 for the People People coverage with a focus on youth participation in politics. This is the first year that Madison West High School's implemented an elective civics course, also known as the legislative semester. The course is geared for students who are close to voting age. They create committees, take on leadership roles that mimic the legislature. Well, they watch debates, learn how to fact check and argue on topics, and also come to compromises. This way, students can learn about the political and social issues that impact them before they vote.
The only way a functional democracy works is if you have an informed electorate. And even more now with AI and social media, how do they discern that information and make a really good vote on, that's going to benefit them?
I love that about this class, that we actually get to find sources where we can fact check.
Now, in 2024, Gen Z will make up over 40 million potential voters. Issues like climate change and gun violence are top of mind for youth, but according to Circle Research, cost of living is the top concern by young people, and actually by a wide margin. When we come back, Jacob tells us about a potentially wet weekend ahead, plus Boeing workers continue to strike while union members there calling for a more up-to-date contract. Stay with us.
Ashley's massive 55th anniversary celebration is on now. Get rock-bottom prices on everything in store. Plus, our gift to you, no interest financing for 55 months. And weekly doorbusters, only at Ashley.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Hot tub season is here now, and Leisure Concepts has so many hot tubs in our showroom we can barely move. Tons of new hot tubs. Floor models are on sale, and a powerful 4-seat hot tub is just $59.99. We'll deliver your new hot tub immediately, and we train you so owning and loving your hot tub is a breeze. Check out our huge packed showroom now for a great hot tub at a great price. Leisure Concepts is on the Beltline at the Park Street exit.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
They've been rocking audiences for decades. It's Foghat. Performing live November 30th at Ho-Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
I just want to make
with special guest, The Empty Pockets. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Legendary rock band Foghat. Live in concert November 30th at Ho-Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. Your odds are better here.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
Ashley's massive 55th anniversary celebration is on now. Get rock-bottom prices on top mattress brands. Plus, our gift to you, 0 interest financing for 55 months. And weekly mattress doorbusters, only at Ashley.
The final sprint to Election Day is on, and News 3 Now this morning is focused on the races and the policies that matter to you, the voter.
We're taking a look at both sides of the issues and where the candidates stand so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the people, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. The U.S. Coast Guard holding its third hearing into the investigation of the Titan submersible, the vessel that imploded last year while on a voyage to the Titanic. The Titan's last communication detailed in a newly released animation just 6 seconds before it lost contact with the surface. Earlier this week, the company OceanGate's former operations director testified about the safety of the Titan and its pilots. A representative for OceanGate declined to comment so far on the investigation. The Marine Board hearings are expected to continue through the end of next week. Rallying in Portland alongside the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers president. It comes amid calls by 33,000 Boeing machinists for a fair contract. They're arguing that worker treatment has a significant impact on public safety. According to the union, their contract, which was put in place back in 2008, has remained mostly unchanged, resulting in stagnant wages and a contract that did not meet employees' needs.
It is time for this company to listen to its workers, to the members of the IAM, because what it's going to take for us to get back into that plant, building the best planes for the United States of America, the military, and the flying public, it's going to take a fair wage. A fair wage. We've had 10 years of wage stagnation.
Negotiations are ongoing now with a mediator. It's estimated Boeing could lose more than $100 million for each day of the strike. Well, one of the world's most famous seafood restaurants was able to claw its way out of financial problems. Red Lobster out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy now. That's according to a statement from the company's CEO. He said the restructuring process includes more than $60 million in funding. Red Lobster has 545 locations still in the United States and Canada, and it employs roughly 30,000 workers. Weekly jobless claims in the U.S. fell last week. The federal government reports first-time applications for unemployment benefits fell from 231,000 to 219,000, and the number of continuing claims was 1.8 million. Both numbers are less than what experts expected. And Wisconsin hits a new record high for jobs. The Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development says in August, the state's unemployment rate was just 2.9%. That is more than 1% below the national average. The number of people employed increased 2,100 over the month to a record high of 3,051,900. Total non-farm jobs increased by more than 11,000 and rose by around 35,000 over the year to 3,047,300 jobs. That is the highest number on record. Amazon is the latest company to announce that it would soon require its corporate employees to come into office 5 days a week. The Seattle-based company joining other large corporations such as Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan Chase in demanding that workers be in the office more. CEO Andy Jassy justifying the move, saying in a memo, quote, "The advantages of being together in the office are significant." But a study led by a Stanford economist and published this year found that employees who work from home 2 days a week are just as productive and likely to get promoted and also far less prone to quit.
The much better answer to all this is stop sweating how many days a week people are in the office. Start focusing on outcomes. Holding people accountable to results is going to take you a lot further than does Joe show up at 8 in the morning and leave at 7 o'clock at night.
Now, Amazon's new policy will go into effect on January 2nd of next year. Watching YouTube for free just got a little more time consuming, and now the ads will play on the platform even when paused. Many users on social media aren't happy about the move, with one calling it the most annoying feature yet. There is a way to avoid ads altogether, though. You can get a YouTube premium subscription, but that'll typically cost about $14 a month. The moon will soon be getting a temporary friend. Listen to this. It's a new study in the research notes of the American Astronomical Society. It is a tiny asteroid. It'll start to orbit Earth starting September 29th. It'll essentially act as a mini moon. It's been given the name 2024 PT5, creatively named. The asteroid will only be around until November 25th before it returns to an asteroid belt revolving around the sun. Experts say the only way it can be viewed is with telescopes used by professional astronomers. Storms set to roll through overnight. We should dry out tomorrow. Jacob's back. Any chance for a good soaker anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some heavy rain right now for parts of our area. Here in Madison, though, the storms are still moving east and they are dissipating just a little bit as they do so. So here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. Scattered storms tonight, but we are going to remain warm through Saturday with a chance of rain next week, and that rain next week will cool the temperatures off really for all of next week. So here's a look at the current radar storms just to the north and west of Dane County. We are seeing quite a bit of rainfall north and in the western portion of our area. Heaviest rain right now just to the west of Platteville, moving into that area. But this line of rain extends all the way north into the central and northern portion of Wisconsin. But the rain is a little bit lighter the further north you go. And this entire system is expected to impact pretty much the entire area. We do have a small chance of severe weather, but I'll be honest, the chance of severe weather is very low right now. Can't completely rule it out, but my guess is most of us will only see steady rainfall and not see any severe weather. So let's take a look at future casts throughout the night. Again, the line of storms will continue to push off to the east. It is possible that the storms completely dry up before they impact the eastern portion of our area, but most of the region is expected to see rain at some point. Again, it will really impact us during the overnight hours, and what I mean by that is it should clear out by the time we get to sunrise on Friday. Again, the further east you're located, the later the rain will happen, and obviously some western areas already seeing that rainfall. And again, we are going to clear up by the time we get to Friday morning, and then we're going to be dry for much of the day on Friday. So total precipitation from the storms tonight will be hit or miss depending on where some of these isolated storms do form. We'll see about a ½ inch to a quarter of an inch if you do see some thunderstorms, only about a 1/10 of an inch to a quarter of an inch if you don't. But we'll take whatever rain we can get, considering we are starting to see some drought conditions form. And we are going to see more rainfall next week. Unfortunately, next week also does kind of feel like a hit or miss. Now Sunday, there's a chance of rainfall, but the heaviest will be to the south of Wisconsin. Still expecting to see some showers and a few storms during the day on Sunday for southern Wisconsin. But Monday is the better of the 2 days in terms of the better chance of rainfall. We'll see the system kind of just linger around southern Wisconsin throughout the day into early Tuesday and begin to clear out by the time we get to Tuesday afternoon. So really from Sunday afternoon all the way through Tuesday afternoon, we'll continue to see some on and off rain chances, maybe a few thunderstorms as well. But right now we're just expecting mostly steady showers. And then after Tuesday, we're looking fairly dry for the rest of next week. The other thing about next week is take a look at those temperatures. 70s are in the forecast from Sunday all the way through next Sunday, just in time for the start of fall. Can you believe that? 86 Saturday, 73 on Sunday, right as fall starts. It's almost like Mother Nature knew it starts right now. So 70s for all of next week, but we are going to be fairly dry after some lingering rain on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday as well. But overall, I'm sure everyone will take the cooler temperatures, and we also will take whatever rain we do indeed get tonight and also early next week.
All right, Jacob, thank you. And coming up in sports, Jordan Love back on the practice field. What he had to say about getting some reps and possibly getting a little closer to a return. That's next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
This ad is a complete lie. The truth is, Tammy Baldwin's never shared inside information with her partner. And Tammy Baldwin's leading the fight to ban senators from purchasing any individual stocks. It's Eric Hovde, who owns a $3 billion California bank. And Hovde's bank takes millions from unknown foreign interests, meaning we'd have no idea who Eric Hovde would really be working for. Eric Hovde, what's wrong with this guy?
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I'm not old enough to vote yet, but I learned how 1 out of 6 of us will someday be raped.
So please, think about me when you vote. I learned how our freedom to have an abortion was taken away.
Even in cases of rape or incest. Even to travel to get an abortion.
You know who got rid of Roe v. Wade.
When you vote, please think about me. Because the politician who got rid of Roe v. Wade, he couldn't care less.
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Lock in for October. Brewers postseason tickets go on sale September 20th. Get ready for more heroics, more fireworks, more opportunities to witness history. Because when the temperature drops, the action only heats up. Clear your schedule, claim your spot, and get ready for a Brewers postseason run you don't want to miss.
Career politicians like Peter Barca will say anything to get elected. His latest negative ad against Brian Style, it's been called blatantly false. The truth, Style has always supported IVF. He co-sponsored a resolution supporting IVF. And Style backs legislation to help families afford IVF. Peter Barca can sling mud, but we deserve better than just another lying career politician.
I'm Brian Style, and I approve this message.
Over the second day in a row, Packer quarterback Jordan Love took part in the team practice. According to Coach Matt LaFleur, he was limited in practice after suffering that MCL injury in week 1 of the season on a play in the final seconds against the Eagles down in Brazil. LaFleur wouldn't say if Love will practice tomorrow, and while it's still uncertain if he'll return for Sunday's game against Tennessee, he is confident the team can win if he can't go.
What we did last week, I think, gives everybody more confidence, going forward if I'm not cleared this week. So I love that. I love that we got the dub, and, it's a big confidence boost going forward in this next week.
Well, some more good news for the Pack. Wide receiver Jaden Reed and offensive lineman Elton Jenkins both returned to practice today after sitting out yesterday. And the Diamondbacks beat the Brewers 5-1 tonight at AmFam Field. Arizona highly motivated in the wild card race. Brewers get another shot at him tomorrow night, 7:10 start in Milwaukee. And Shohei Ohtani, what a night. He became the first player in baseball history to reach the 50-50 mark. In the first inning of the game against the Marlins, he stole third for his 50th stolen base of the year. In the second inning, he stole second base for his 51st stolen base. In the sixth, he hit a 2-run homer, his 49th of the season. He followed that up with his 50th home run in the seventh inning. He ended up 6 for 6 with 3 homers, 10 RBI. The Dodgers, well, they barely beat the Marlins. 20-4 was the final. Well, don't forget to check out this week's Wisconsin Huddle. This week, former Badger volleyball player, national champion Lauren Barnes is stopping by, and you'll be able to catch the next episode. That's tomorrow night, 6:30, right after News 3 Now at 6. And stay with us. We'll be back after a short break.
I want to turn to the issue of abortion.
For 52 years, they've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it.
I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term. They don't want that. I think the American people believe that certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
This September, it's time to celebrate Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. For decades, we've been a staple of our downtown community, and we're proud of those roots. We've built a reputation for quality service and beautiful forever furniture, and you can save on all of the top brands: Smith Brothers, Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, Serta mattresses, and always free delivery. Shop local this September at Portage Furniture's anniversary sale. Don't you just love a good reason to celebrate?
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead, And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
How do you make everyone's favorite buffet even better? How do you make the country's best chicken even more exciting? How do you make Thursday the best night ever? Wing night at Pizza Ranch. Boneless and traditional. A variety of sauces. All the wings you want, plus all your other buffet favorites. The country's best wing night is here. Taking flight Thursday nights only at Pizza Ranch. Everyone's favorite buffet.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals, and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border and save America. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
The Final Drive high school football coverage, Fridays at 10.
Tonight on The Late Show, my guest is Anderson Cooper. He went to Yale, but so did J.D. Vance.
New tonight on CBS.
Well, Jacob is back as we take one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're still seeing that rain push to the east, right now impacting the western portion of our area and also the northern counties. Again, most of our area should see rain at some point, but for the further east you're located, the less rain you will see as the system will continue to dissipate a little bit. But overall, we'll take whatever we can get in terms of the rainfall, considering the drought conditions are starting to form. As we take a look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, another chance of rain will come for Sunday and Monday of next week. And take a look at that temperature swing from Saturday to Sunday. We'll be in the 70s for much of next week, just in time for fall. You know, Eric, you don't really see that very often where the moment fall hits, the temperatures are completely different. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just get some rain tonight, though. It's just so dry out there. Jacob, thanks. Thanks for joining us for News True Now at 10, folks. Have a great night.